So now we will again discuss the parallel operation of two alternator. Already discussed that what are the advantage of parallel operation of alternators. So now directly we move to the parallel operation of two alternator and effect of change in mechanical torque and effect of change in excitation under no load condition. So here it is assume that there are two alternators are there. This is one alternator whose excitation is EF. Second alternator is EF2, EF1 and EF2, and it is connected with the its impedance. Impedance comprises of resistance and inductance, and it is supplying both alternators supplying a common load. It is a ZL or load condition is there. Now first we will see in the open circuit condition. In the open circuit condition, the meaning is that there is no load at all. The switch is off condition. So it is off condition. So it is the equivalent circuit. It comprises of excitation EMF and impedance. Impedance comprises of synchronous reactance XS and armature resistance RA. Similarly, for the second alternator, it is the synchronous reactance of second alternator, resistance of the second alternator. The current supplied by alternator 1 is IA1 and alternator by second is IA2. And the total current become load current is IL, which is the combination of IA1 plus IA2. No doubt it is the vector addition. Say AC quantity, so there is a vector addition. Now in first case, it is considered that the load is, there is a no load condition. So the terminal voltage of both alternator when they are working in parallel, it is a common voltage is a terminal voltage is VT. This loop is called as a local circuit. This loop is called as a local circuit, and where we have defined as a local circuit current is IC. Now here for the local circuit, it is assumed that the two voltages are opposite, EF1 and EF2. Their magnitudes are same under perfect parallel operation or under floating condition. And in the external circuit, it is shown by EF1 is equal to EF2, and under no load condition, which is equal to VT. It is also equal to the terminal voltage is VT. Now, our objective is to examine the effect of change in mechanical torque under no load condition. Okay, so this is our objective. This is the no load conditions. Now, under no load condition, when the one of the alternator is, suppose the mechanical input of first alternator has been increased, torque of the mechanical is increased, and because of increase in torque, there is no change in the excitation EMF, only it is get ahead. So it is get ahead, so because it is accelerated and it is get ahead, and this is shown by this vector. So here EF1 and EF2 is same. So because of change in mechanical torque, the EF1 gets advances and this get advances, and here it is shown, here it is get advances. The difference of these two voltages EC is going to develop. So this is represented by EC, or here it is also be represented for the external circuit. So where EC is equal to EF1 minus EF2. Okay, so there is a vector addition. So vector additions are there. Now it is shown in the local circuit. Suppose in the local circuit, see here again, in the local circuit, they are opposite to each other. This is EF1 and this is EF2. So in this case also the EF1, say this is your EF1, earlier EF1 is there, and because of advancement, because of the mechanical input, change in the mechanical input for the alternator 1, it is get advanced, and the vector addition of these two is nothing but the EC. Now when there is a EC, there is a this EC is going to develop across this circuit only. This is on the local circuit. It is going to develop across the local circuit. So what is that local circuit? Comprises of two impedances. So the current IC under such condition, the current IC is equal to EC divided by Z1 plus Z2, or impedance of the first alternator plus second alternator. We come to know that impedance Z is equal to RA plus JXS. The resistance of armature circuit is very small as compared to the reactance, or here the reactance is dominant. Or if you consider the armature resistance is 0, the impedance is because of only the reactance, synchronous reactance. And when there is only one reactance, the current is going to lag by 90 degrees. So see here, this is the term, this is the local circuit voltage EC, and the current is lagging by a large angle nearly 90 degree. So this is the current IC, it is shown, which is lagging by 90 degree. Now see carefully, very carefully, very carefully, in such a way that the angle between EF and IC is theta1. It is 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 equal to theta1. Whereas angle between current, circulating current IC and EF2, it is theta2. So here theta1 is smaller than 90 degree, whereas theta2 is greater than 90 degree. Okay. So if you calculate the power, so it is EF1 IC cos of theta1, it is a positive value. It is a positive value. So this machine is acting as a generating mode. It is acting as a generating mode. Whereas the second machine, EF1 IC cos of theta2, is here the theta2 is greater than 90 degrees. So it is a negative value, and it is acting as a motoring mode. Motoring mode. So one machine acting as a generating mode, second machine acting as a motoring mode. So what is the equivalent effect? The machine which is acting as a generating mode, it is get retarded. Get retarded. And whereas the motoring mode get accelerated. So one machine is retarding, second machine is accelerating. The equivalent effect is that again, two machine EMF becomes same, and at the same time, the circulating current goes to the zero value, isn't it? So here the circulating current is the magnet, is the synchronizing current. The circulating current is the synchronizing current. Synchronizing current. And the duty of synchronizing current to bring the machine again into the synchronism, isn't it? It will produce some synchronizing power which will bring the machine again into the synchronism, or again into the equal voltage and equal frequency. So this is the current is lagging by 90 degree. If suppose there is no reactance is there, what happened? The impedance is only the resistance value, and here we can say that the circulating current and circulating voltage both are in same phase, and there is no effect of no machine is going to motorize in the motoring mode and generating mode, and there is no effect of synchronization or synchronizing power. So it is necessary that the local circuit should have a inductance, dominantly inductance value. Then and then it is possible to bring the both machine again into the synchronism. Okay. Now one more thing which we have to remember here. Here the only two machines are working in parallel. Machine 1 and machine 2, they are working in parallel. And when we increase the mechanical input slightly, it is observed that there is a slightly change in the frequency. There is a slightly change in the frequency. The frequency get increases. Earlier, the frequency of first alternator whose mechanical input has been increased is a larger one. Say it is a 52 hertz, but by it is retarding because of the generating mode, and this is accelerating by the motoring mode. The new frequency may be 50.5 hertz or 51 hertz is there when the two alternators are working in parallel. Okay, so this is the effect of change in mechanical input under no load condition. Now we will see the effect of change in excitation. The first case we will take the under no load condition. no load condition. Under no load condition, again, we will went to the first diagram. In this diagram, when the excitation of alternator are such that EF1 is equal to EF2 in the external circuit, it is shown like that. And in the internal circuit, they are opposite to each other. Now let the excitation of the one alternator 1 is increased by increasing the field current. So as soon as we increase the excitation of the alternator 1, the magnitude of EF1 is get increased by EF1 dash. Say here, it is shown that it is EF1 and EF2 is same. EF1 and EF2 is same. But by increasing the excitation of the one alternator, the magnitude of EF1 is get increased by EF1 dash. And because of this one, the circulating voltage or the local circuit voltage going to develop. That is EF1 minus EF2, and it is shown here. So this is EF1 minus EF2. It is EC is equal to this one. Okay. Now again, the current IC is equal to EC, local circuit voltage, divided by Z1 plus Z2. Again, in the impedance 1 and 2, the inductance is dominant. So the IC is lagging by 90 degree with EC. So this current is lagging by 90 degree with EC. Now here the excitation of first alternator has been increased. So here the EC is over here. If suppose you have increased the excitation of the second alternator EF2 dash, so under such condition, the EC will be downward. It will be the voltage EC. Okay. So, but in this case, we are considering that the excitation of first alternator has been increased. So this is the EC, and current is lagging by 90 degree with respect to EC. So current IC, this is the current IC. It is lagging by EC with 90 degree. Now, if you look at this figure, we found that the current IC is lagging by 90 degree with EF1 dash. Okay. And whereas current IC is leading by 90 degree with EF2, only EF2. Okay. So it means that the effect of armature reaction is magnetized with respect to E2, and it is demagnetized with respect to EF1. So when current IC produces the armature reaction whose effect is demagnetized, because of demagnetizing effect with respect to the EF1, the excitation EMF is decreases, whereas the effect of circulating current IC, that is the armature reaction, is magnetizing. So the value of excitation EMF EF2, it slightly get increases. Okay, so here it is found that because of magnetizing and demagnetizing effect of circulating current, generator whose excitation has been increased decreases the EMF, and the second alternator EMF slightly increases in such a way that again the circulating voltage becomes zero. Say suppose it is somewhat get decreases and it is slightly increases at some particular value of EF1 and EF2, new value of EF1 and EF2, EC becomes zero. As soon as EC becomes zero, the current IC also becomes zero. Okay, so this is the meaning that under no load condition, if we increase the excitation of one of the alternator, it is get resynchronized itself because of armature reaction. One is the magnetizing and second for the demagnetizing. Only the difference is that the terminal voltage may slightly increase from its previous value. Let previous value is 230 volt. The new value may be 232 volt or 233 volts. because only two alternators are working in parallel. So this is the case for under no load condition. Now we will consider under loaded condition. Under loaded condition. Under load condition, we consider that the power output of the alternator is constant. So power is given by P delta relation. It is EF Vt upon Xs into sine delta. So as we are going to increase the excitation, the effect of is going to change, isn't it? So which part is remaining constant? Here Vt sine delta will remain constant, isn't it? Vt sine delta will remain constant, or you can say that EF sine delta, again it will remain constant. So here in this case, this is the terminal voltage. This is the here under no load or under load condition, the two alternators are in parallel. So excitation EMF EF1 and EF2 is equal, and this is the angle delta. This angle delta, angle between excitation EMF and terminal voltage is delta. So this is angle delta. Okay. Now the current is lagging. Which current? Current of both alternator in such a way that the total power factor angle of load is theta. So here it is theta. Okay. So just I will try to we will try to develop this one by say under no load condition or under parallel operation, two alternators are in a say this is the terminal voltage Vt, terminal voltage Vt. Now there is a some Ia axis drop is there, reactance drop is there. We consider that armature resistance is negligible, so it is Ia1 axis is equal to Ia2 axis 2 is there, and here both voltages are same. EF excitation of alternator 1 and alternator 2 is same. So here EF1 is equal to EF2, and load current is here, which is respect to the terminal voltage. So this is your terminal voltage Vt, this is your excitation. Now here this is the angle delta, and angle with respect to the current and terminal voltage is the power factor angle theta. So this is the, and this is value is in such a way that it is IL, where IL is equal to Ia1 plus Ia2, Ia1 plus Ia2. Now we will have increased the excitation of one alternator. Say alternator 1, we have increased the excitation. So here the excitation of one alternator has been increased. So under such condition, EF1 is there. EF1 is there. This is the value of EF1 dash. And under such condition, this is the Ia1 axis, this value. So here the this magnitude get increases. So we can say that under such condition, the current Ia2, the magnitude get increases here Ia2, and whose power factor angle is theta 1 dash, theta 1 or theta 1, simply it is theta 1. Whereas because of second alternator whose excitation kept constant, the magnitude of current get decreases. Magnitude of current get decreases in such a way that whatever the value of here, it is nothing but the EC. So this EC is equal to EF1 dash minus EF2, and current IC is equal to EF1 dash minus EF2 divided by Z1 plus Z2 or X1 plus XS plus XS2 is there. So this is the circulating current, and in such a way that the total current does not change. The IL will remain same. See here, it is explained in the same manner. See here, when we increase the excitation of one alternator, yes, so IA1 XS1 get increases, the magnitude of armature current of first alternator get increases. So it is shown by here, it is get increases, and it power factor angle also get increases. Whereas the second alternator, the excitation EMF get decreases, and because of decrease in excitation EMF, the current IA2 excess vector get decreases for the equal power output, and here IA2 is there. So it is quite clear that the power factor of alternator 1 whose excitation has been increased will work on poor power factor. See here, this is the terminal voltage and the power factor angle is large, so power factor will be smaller. So the cos theta 1 is smaller, so it will work on poor power factor. Whereas the cos theta 2, see here, this is the cos theta 2, this angle is cos theta 2, it is shown here, this is cos theta 2, and that cos theta 2 is smaller, so the power factor is improved. So the alternator whose excitation has been increased, it will work on poor power factor, and whose excitation kept constant, it will work on improved power factor, in such a way that the total current, the new value of current, what is new value of current? It is a IA2 dash plus IA1 dash will remain equal to load current. So the load current does not change. The external circuit parameter does not change. Only the change in internal characteristic, internal parameters. Say this is the excitation of alternator 1, EF1. This is the excitation, the internal circuit of alternator 2, EF2. Okay, and here the change in IA1 and IA2 is going to observe. Power factor theta 1, cos theta 1 and cos theta 2 is going to alter, whereas the load current will remain same. The load current IL will remain same. So we can conclude that if you change the excitation of any one of alternator, when two alternators are working in parallel, in any one alternator, the output power will remain same. So the active power, whatever the active power, say this is the terminal voltage is VT, and power factor of the load is theta. So P is equal to VT IL cos theta. This will remain constant. It does not change. So output power which is available for the load circuit is remain constant by any change in the excitation. But what is the change? Change is that the alternator will supply more reactive power whose excitation has been increased, and it will work on poor power factor. Whereas the alternator whose excitation kept constant, it will work on improved power factor and supply less reactive power. So the total reactive power again will remain same. Only the sharing of reactive power, say for example, the reactive power total Q, which is equal to the reactive power of first alternator Q1 plus Q2, in such a way that in the normal condition both are supplying same. Now if the excitation of one alternator, excitation of first alternator has been increased, so the Q will remain same, the total reactive power will remain same. Only the reactive power supplied by first alternator get increases, and the reactive power supplied by second alternator get decreases. So there is a sharing of reactive power we can change. So by changing the excitation of alternator, one of the alternator, it is possible to alter the reactive power sharing by two alternator. The alternator whose excitation has been increased, it will work on poor power factor. Whereas the active power supplied by two alternator, effective two alternator is remain same. That is, the power available to the load circuit will remain same. And third is that alternator whose excitation kept constant, it will work on improved power factor and supply less reactive power. So this is the effect of excitation, change in excitation for no load condition and load condition. Now, next is the change in mechanical power or mechanical torque for two parallel operated alternator. Now here you can see that there are two alternators are there. The three-phase alternator, it is connected with the common bus and it is supplying power to the common load. Okay, so the prime mover of one alternator, prime mover of second alternators are there. First of all, we will consider the power supplied by alternator is P1, alternator is P2 and P2 in such a way that the total load P is equal to P1 plus P2 is there. Okay, P1 plus P2 will be there. Now, they are working at initially they are working at in such a way that the frequency of two alternator is same and they are supplying the power to the load circuit. See here, this is the second alternator prime mover characteristic, which already we have covered in the previous topic. This is the prime mover characteristic or governing characteristic of first alternator, and this is the common frequency. This is the common frequency over this one. So the power supplied by second alternator is the intersection of this point, and the power supplied by first alternator will be this one. So this is the initial frequency at which, so the P1, both alternator are supplying power equal. P1, it is P1 only, and this is P plus P in such a way that the power is equal to twice P. Total power is equal to twice P. Okay, this equation will fix it. Okay. So here the power supplied by first generator is P, second generator is P. So the total load is twice P. So here the total load is equal to twice P is equal to P plus P. Okay. Each generator will supply the power. Now let the mechanical input of the first machine has been increased. Here the mechanical input has been increased or torque has been increased. Because of this torque, the generator 1 get accelerated. So as it accelerated, the frequency, its dropping characteristics shifted to this value. So this is new value of new characteristic of prime mover 1, and it is denoted by 1 dash. Isn't it? Now the new frequency, because of this one, this is the new frequency F1 dash is there, or we can say that because of this old frequency, the under such condition, the intersection of this point, so this is the power shared by first alternator whose excited mechanical input has been increased, say P1 dash. Because of this one, it is sharing more power, active power. The second alternator decelerate, its speed get decreases. So this is the new characteristic of prime mover, and here it will intersect. So this is the value of power shared by P2 dash. Again, it is equal, twice P is equal to P1 dash plus P2 dash. The active power supplied by the load will remain same. Only what is going to change? The change is that the active power supplied by alternator is more whose mechanical input has been increased. Isn't it? Now, because of this, one is retarding, second is accelerating. It will shift to the new value of frequency. A new value of frequency is here. So where it will cut the sections. This is new value F1. Say initial frequency is 50 hertz. Now 50.5 hertz. and now the new power is P1 plus P2. So it is again twice P is equal to P1 plus P2 is there. So again, we can conclude that when two alternators are working in parallel, if the mechanical input of one of the alternator has been increased, it will share more active power, and effectively there is a slight change in the frequency. Slightly change in the frequency means the frequency get increases. So one machine get accelerated, second machine get decelerated, so it will settle to the new frequency. And under such frequency, again the alternator whose excitation, whose mechanical input has been increased, it will share more power, and the second alternator will share less power. So this is the conclusion. If you want to increase the mechanical, if you want to increase the share of active power, under such condition, the mechanical input should be increases. And if you want to change the if you want to change the reactive power sharing, then we have to alter the excitation of alternator. So this is the some combination. This is the some effect of mechanical input and effect of excitation on two parallel operated alternators.